Well, I'm on 60. This episode today is episode 60. I mean, I am so freaking proud of myself. I have stuck through it. It's been a little over a year and I'm on 60 episodes. And you know what? I don't think enough we give ourselves credit for the things that we do. So right now, I want you to take a break and I want you to think of one thing that you've fucking been good at. Have you been breathing? Have you been regularly having your water? Have you been waking up and going to work out? Have you been going to bed at a reasonable time? Like, give one thing that you can write down that you can look at that and go, you know what? Good for you. In this world that we can't control that's fucking crazy, I'm proud of you. And you know what? I'm proud of myself, and that's okay to say, and we need to start saying it a lot more as women and just as people. I'm proud of you. You did good. All right, let's get into it. Hello, world. Come inside the Dear Juju Podcast. Okay, today I am sporting a wet look. I am wearing a bathing suit with little fishy earrings. I think, if you want to steal the show at a pool, wear gold and red, period. You know why? Because it exudes confidence. It exudes power and it exudes sex. Oh. And I think you just steal the show when you're like that, especially, I don't know, I was going to say especially if you're a brunette, but I fucking love a blonde in red as well. Like I just love red. I love red. Now actually just before I was doing my makeup, I listened to a Diary of a CEO. Do you know that podcast? Speaking of podcast on Podcast Love. And I listened to Kevin Leary. And I've been following Diary of a CEO on Instagram and I get the little bits and pieces. And there's something about the Kevin Leary one that just made me listen to the whole 2 hours. It was amazing. And the one thing that he said that we need to do, or that he knows of the people that are going to make it, is exude their confidence. Can you bring what's inside you and push it out without saying a word? And I think that's what red does. Red is an instant, what you see is what you get. You're going to get a confident, feisty, fun, life-loving Italian woman. You don't have to be Italian, but I think it adds and exudes that confidence. And he even talked about dressing the part. It is so important for success. Go listen to that one. It's really good. Now, I, my whole life, have been in the big arm girl club. Like even when I was in high school and I weighed about 100 pounds, I still had big arms. I just would like, for one day, I wish I could be a Barbie and someone pop these off and put on like people who have those little skinny arms. My forearms are bigger than their arms. And I know a lot of women look at her legs, look at her boobs, look at her this, that. I look at women's arms. That's what I look at. And I go, look at her fucking skinny arms. Damn, that looks good. I want to know what it's like to be a skinny arm bitch. I'll never know. This is maybe a little bit of talent and a little bit of overindulgence, but I got strong arms. I can do pull-ups. I can do push-ups. I can throw my kids up in the air. Like I'm fucking yo. And if you're a thick-armed girl, if you're a thick-armed woman, leave a comment on YouTube or wherever you listen and let me know. Maybe we should start a big arm girl club. Because you know what we can do, honey? We can strong arm life, Speaking of body positivity and things like that, it really does start with you, I was speaking to a lady the other day. She was going through a divorce. She's very much in a man-hating phase, which I always, can empathize with because do I have a view that everything wrong in the world is, because of men? Yes. And there's a lot of things that are right in the world as well because of men. But, I can go on a man-hating rant, like if that's where we're at, sure, especially if I'm, the bottle of Chardonnay deep as we were at a barbecue. And then she was talking about body positivity. And I said, well, what do you feel about your own body? And she was like, I hate this, 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 I hate that. And I'm like, how can we ever be body positive as a collective if individually we're body negative. And I said, see, you don't need to believe or spread body positivity with any of the things that are going on. It needs to start with you. So I'm trying to be that change that I want to see in the world. I usually would never show my arms. Go back and look at all 60 episodes of this podcast. Never once. I always cover them up. Now, I believe at a meeting and things like that, there's an appropriate place to see an armpit. I don't really want to see an armpit at a dinner table or things like that. It's just like, hide your armpit. I think that's very much of an etiquette situation that I have. But just during fashion, I would never usually wear something like this, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing my big arms. I'm embracing my fupa, and it's all here out on display for you. And I just think that you should too. So if you want to see more body positivity in the world, start with you. What can you just love? What can you just put out there? I look at my fupa and I'm like, it had 2 babies. Maybe a little overindulgence, sure. But you know what? It had 2 babies. So it is what it is. I'm rocking it. It would be nice if people were as attracted to the fupa as they were to the breast. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be fucking great? And I'm not talking like a fupa that's all stands for overindulgence and not taking care of yourself. I'm talking about like a C-section, a uterus, and just a changing time where that's where the fat deposit goes. Still healthy, still work out, love eating salads, drink water. No matter what I do, the fupa's there. My hair is drying as the episode goes on because it is so goddamn hot in London. And I know people are like, it's not that hot if you look at the temperature. But you guys, this is what you have to understand. 1, there's no AC. All the buildings are old. And they don't do it because it's such a small, insignificant time of the year that they're not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars doing an AC when it literally is 2 or 3 weeks out of the year. It just doesn't make financial sense. But B, these homes, these buildings, if they're not new, are very old. And what are they old for? The older climate that where I live, my borough, is 1,000 years old. It was established 1,000 years ago. So all of the homes are made for like really strong insulation of keeping in warmth because 1,000 years ago, it was a lot colder and it was a lot gloomier during the summers. And what it needed was to sustain the winters and keep the warmth in. Well, it's real good at its job. That's what I'll say, because the warmth, there's no fan, there's no nothing that can save us. Okay, now last but not least, oh my Atlanta, Georgia, you guys. My son had sports day yesterday at his school, and my husband and I went. Sports day? That's a stretch, okay? They were doing potato on a spoon. They were doing potato sack races. They were throwing a pool noodle to see how far it went. And at every other station, there was a rest station, which it was really hot, so we needed that. But I was looking over at my husband going, what the hell is this? This is not sports day. This should be called like fun activity day, right? We had, growing up in Texas, field day. It started with a mile run and clocking who was the fastest. That's what it started with in the Texas heat. Then we went to pull-ups, push-ups, sit and reach. It was damn near baby CrossFit. Seriously. Like it was a situation, and I don't know, but at Bentford Elementary, I'm not sure if it's still there, but I got a plaque for the most pull-ups ever in the history of the elementary school. That's just who you're fucking dealing with on this podcast, okay? Okay? Dealing with a fucking winner. I wish I would have gotten a picture of it, but yeah, I got a little gold plaque, but I gave it back to the school. They made me give it back to the school at the end of the year so that they could keep it there. And the last time I went there, which was a really long time ago, maybe like over 20 years ago, the plaque was still there. So Bentford Elementary, if you still have Julianne Waters as the plaque for my year for pull-ups, let me know. But yeah, this was CrossFit. There were kids going, I don't feel good. I'm sitting out. Mom, did you bring snacks? I was like, what is this bitch shit? I mean, I don't even know. Maybe it's just a thing of like Texans. But like our field day, our sports day, our athletic day right before school was out was intense. It was serious. And we were there for blood. These little fucking weenie whiners these days. I said, wow, this was a joke. We could have been making money instead of wasting our time fucking being here at this field. Is so pathetic. But let me be here for my child, which, that was important. He didn't win his race either, but you know what? He had resilience and he had good sportsmanship. And I think that is better than winning, because that'll go a lot further in this life, because resilience and sportsmanship, it makes more than talent. This is what I'm learning. As someone who's born with a deep amount of talent, how deep? So deep. I haven't had the resilience and the consistency, and that's the part that I'm working on. So maybe there's a little bit of consistency that you can work on too. All right, now with all that, let's get into some domestic goddessness. Cooking. I am going to put this up on the Instas because I have to show you guys. I made the cutest fucking appetizers in the world this week. I got invited. That's like invited and farted at the same time. I got invited to a day barbecue next door. And I said, well, what can I bring? Because Lord knows I was already bringing flowers and wine, but you still ask, right? A lot of people don't come empty-handed with one thing. I have to come with 3. It's just my nature. And I said, well, what can I bring? What can I contribute? And she was like, if you could make a gorgeous appetizer, something that we could eat with our hands, that would be lovely. And I thought, I instantly wanted to do a prosciutto, burrata, grilled peach and basil topped with a little basil and balsamic. It's one of my favorite appetizers that I've ever had when I was in Sydney and I was very pregnant. And I was like, but wait, eat it with my hand. How am I supposed to eat that with my hand? Then I got the brilliant idea. I got a mini muffin tin. And what you do is you take the prosciutto and you cut it probably in 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch squares. So you need like 2 pieces, and then you need to slice it, and then take those squares and kind of push it into the little mini muffin tin at 375 degrees for maybe 5 minutes. You pop them in the oven and you crisp them up. When they come out, they're crisp and they take the shape of the mini muffin tin, and then you got yourself a little goddamn cup. Adorable. And what I did then is I cut up the burrata, which it wasn't easy, but I used a spoon to put in the stracciatella, and I put a little scoop of the burrata, and then I put a glaze of balsamic on top of that, then a basil leaf, and then on top, separately, I grilled some peaches in some butter. I dusted it with butter, and I grilled some peaches. Then I put a top of a grilled peach and a little more balsamic glaze. They were a smash hit. So if you need something for a barbecue to bring, you just put them on a gorgeous little plate. You drizzle the whole plate with some basil, and it's lovely. I also brought cantaloupe wrapped in prosciutto, and then again, I garnished it with some basil. That was also really lovely. So there's a couple things of like salty, sweet that they could have and just pop in their mouth with their fingers. Let me tell you, those little prosciutto crisp cups with burrata and grilled peaches and basil and balsamic were gone. I made everyone 2 or 3, or 2, and some people could have 3. And within 5 seconds of putting it down, everyone was gagging. It's the thing to make. So if you're going to a summer barbecue, bring that. It's going to be a showstopper, like your red bathing suit that you're going to wear at the pool. Cocktails. Do you ever want to switch up your spritz? You guys, a limoncello spritz is the thing that I am so into right now. Really simple. A spritz is 3, 2, 1. So what I do is I do the limoncello, then the ice, then I do the Prosecco and the sparkling water, garnish it with a lemon wheel and a sprig of mint. It's fun, it's festive, it's summery, it's a spritz, and limoncello's got a lot of fucking alcohol. Okay, let's see the alcohol percentage that we got here. So Aperol is 11% alcohol and limoncello is 26 to 28% alcohol. So you guys, if next time you want to switch up your spritz, please try a limoncello spritz. And you could even do 2 limoncello, 3 Prosecco, and then 1 of the soda. That way, if you want to make sure it's not too boozy and you're sloppy at your next event. But that sounds like such a good summer loving time. Decor. Now, the most important part that you will ever decorate in the summer is your dining al fresco station, right? It's the place where you go outside and you're going to relax or read a book on some downtime or enjoy your limoncello spritz. And so the thing that I want you to focus on now is your al fresco living and dining situation. I want you to get some new pillows. I want you to get a new rug for the season. I want you to get a new umbrella. Those things just don't always last or hold up. Those little addings of pop is a good place to spend money because then you're going to enjoy your outside a little bit more. So this is what I would do. I would get kind of a neutral type situation. Get a green. We actually have a cream, if you can believe it, with some brown rope that's really beautiful. But then we have such fun pillows that pop, 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 pop. We have really fun rug and we have a new umbrella as well. And that has just changed our whole dynamic of bringing the decor outside. You want something fun that makes you happy, that feels vibrant, and that you're actually going to use, because if you use it, it's worth its weight in gold to actually enjoy the season. All right, now with all that, let's get into some Q&A with some TNA. Dear Juju, I just made a quiche and it's one of my best yet. I do have to say it looked gorgeous to the eyes, but when we tasted it, it actually felt a little bit bland. What can I do to make sure that my quiche packs a punch next time? Okay, here's the thing with cooking that you have to do, and people are always afraid that they're going to over salt and then they get a bite and add some salt either at the end or just before putting it in the oven, and then it doesn't come out really nice. I don't know what you use, but let's say if you have a veggie or cheese, usually adds some salt. Veggies, I would cook before and salt and pepper and season them before and then let them cool. Your egg mixture, whatever your egg mixture is, if you use cream, if you use half and half, if you just use milk, your eggs to your cream basis, please salt and pepper that accordingly. You know how much salt you put on a fried egg? If you're using 6 to 8 eggs, I need you to salt that egg mixture nicely, because you know what? The crust is going to give it like a creamy and crumbly texture, and you want that saltiness to kind of combat it. So make sure you salt at every layer. Period. That's why it came out bland. You can't just add salt at the end. You have to actually bake it into each section, and that's how you're going to get a gorgeous quiche next time. All right, let me know how that goes, Keisha. Dear Juju, I love your advice on dating. It always seems to cut through the noise, and it's very black and white, which that's what we need on dating, an outside perspective that's just black and white. So now to my best friend's new boyfriend. He completely gives me the ick. Do I say something or should I just sip on my cocktail and smile? No, a good friend says something, period. You have to tell them. You have to let them know. Take them out to dinner or cocktails and say, hey, not beforehand, but when you get there, say, I need to kind of discuss something with you that's a little bit sensitive. So can we just have like an open and honest conversation? If they say yes, of course, and say, you know I love you. And maybe you're dickmatized and can't see through the dick, but he gives me the ick. And I have a few other people who he also gives the ick. And so I just want you to know that if he does icky things or starts becoming icky to you, that's something that you need to look at because he gives us the ick. You can leave that information for what you will. I just need you to know how we feel. And just leave it at that, because I think holding that in, it's going to have resentment. You go, well, I thought so, but I didn't want to say anything. Like, fuck being nice, you guys. Nice is respectful, but nice is performative. Real kindness comes from a genuine love and care of the other person, and you want to make sure if you're seeing something that they can't see, that you make them aware of it. That's real kindness, not let me be nice and just not rock the boat. Like, no one has fucking time for that anymore. Tell her he gives you icky. So quit focusing on the dicky. Dear Juju, social media has its faults, we all know, but I feel myself comparing my life to strangers on social platforms who seem to be living in a Nancy Meyers movie. What do you suggest for comparison in these times where everything is so in front of us? Yeah, it's just like anything. When you feel yourself doing anything negative, scrolling too much, drinking too much, eating too much bad processed foods, not working out enough, not drinking enough water, not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, I think the first step is awareness. And then the second step is to just simply stop and go, I'm not in comparison with anyone else. I have no idea what they're looking for. You know what? Instead of comparing myself to someone else who I have no idea what's really going on, maybe that's a clue that I'm not living my best life. So what can I do to get involved in my own life? Here's the thing that I promote on this podcast, this brand, and this platform, okay? Slay the ordinary. Live a ridiculously fabulous life. Now, what that takes is a little bit of discipline, right? Because you can't compare yourself to anyone's budget, home, relationship, life. Like, you can't compare yourself to anyone. All you can control is your little home and body that you have and your home that you have. And whether it's an apartment of 500 square feet or a home of 5,000 square feet, it is your job to carve out the life and that you want to see within these four walls. How you want to feel. I want you to dopamine decorate. I want you to dopamine dress. If you want to have a pink office, fucking have it. If you want an office that's like navy blue and sexy and feels like Ralph Lauren, do it. Like, we need to start putting in effort where we can control, because things in this life start to get out of control. But what can you do? Can you repaint? Can you shake it up? Can you just, accept your big arms as they are? Like, that's all we can control is this body and this home. The home that we live in, which is our body, and the home that we actually live in, which is our house. So let's fucking go for it, right? Like, as much as our budget will allow, let's get creative, let's dopamine do it, and let's get into it. And let's carve. Like, I don't know about you, but when I look at something, I want it to go, wow, that looks really nice. Wow, that looks really great. I might feel like shit about myself, but I'm going to get dressed and go, well, you just polished up that turd, and that's what we got to do. Comparing yourselves to other on social media is really the effect, and the symptom is you not living your best life. You not feeling like you're fully in control and taking charge. So it just stops. It stops today. So I need you to put down the phone and think, what can I do that would really make me feel excited? You know what? I've always wanted to DIY a garden station and have a little herbs. I'm going to do that this weekend. Do something that just makes you fucking happy and makes your life fucking full. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. And you know what the crazy thing is? Maybe you've heard of dopamine dressing before, maybe not. But when you dopamine decorate and when you dopamine dress, anyone that comes into this space, the energy is charged. I saw a meme that said, you guys believe in Wi-Fi, right? An invisible power that charges and connects you to the whole world, but you don't believe in energy and vibes that we emit? Come on. You have your own Wi-Fi signal. Boop, boop, boop. What are you signaling? Are you signaling success? Are you signaling creativity? Are you signaling confidence? Or are you signaling self-fucking-loathing? Or are you signaling self-fucking-loathing? Here's the thing. Fix your Wi-Fi. Fix your signal and then project it. Woo, she just went on a tangent. All right, that was episode 60. That was fun. I don't know. I was feeling it. Maybe it's the red. Maybe it's the 60. And you know what? With this episode 60, this is my last thought. I know this one's running a little long, but you know what? This is my 60th fucking episode, so let's go for it. How old are you? 20? I know 20-year-olds listen to this. Not yet, but they will. 30, 40, like moi, 42, 50, 60? I've just started thinking about 60 because I'm 40. And I've started going, what do I need to do in the next 20 years? Really? Like, what do I need to do? There's a lot I need to do. But I really want to make sure that in 10, 15, and 20 years, I look back and I go, you know what? I am really proud of the decisions that I made. And I had some forethought and some foresight in that. So I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 70. That's right, Mom. I'm talking to you and you know I am. What can you do to make yourself proud and look back? I'll tell you right now, it's based on decisions that you make today in this moment. Period. We know that, but we forget it, right? So I am your vibe check. Make good decisions today, okay? Write down what you're proud of today. And also, maybe while you're writing down what you're proud of yourself, maybe write down who you want to be in the next 5, 10, or 15 years. Because that is all incumbent on the decisions that you will make in this moment. Listen, I'm preaching to the choir. I am talking to myself. Let's think about it and let's take life by the balls and make it as fabulous as we fucking can. All right? You're a star. Don't forget it. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Mwah.